Well, I was just going to say one of the most important things the program does is, I think, help educate people
Okay.
about
and that's the empowerment.
about surveillance
Okay.
and about their health risks, so that while people might be afraid that their cancer comes back, to the extent that they ignore their other medical problems, right? The program helps put those things in balance, right? So, for example, even though 1 in 8 women in her lifetime may develop breast cancer, 1 in 4 women die of heart disease in the United States.
Wow, interesting.
Right?
Okay.
And so, if you're a breast cancer survivor, right, you have other things you need to attend to, right?
And some of the treatment for breast cancer can even predispose a person beyond just what we regularly do to develop heart disease.
Okay.
So I think one of the things the survivorship does is ties the whole thing together.
So there are a lot of non-physical scars that cancer can leave.
Definitely. And one thing I learned from the survivorship group is I didn't want to talk about the side effect of my medication because I thought it was just the treatment. When I finished my treatment, the side effect I was having, I thought it was just treatment.
And
There was sexual.
she had to just deal with it. There wasn't any alternative.
So in group, when people began to really reach their feelings and talk about the truth, I was able to gather information. I said, this is me. This is me. This is what I'm feeling. This is what maybe it's the medication. Maybe we should check into that.
Something different for you. Yeah.
Exactly. So then I'll call immediately to Miss Stagner, and I said, this is the feeling I'm having, and it came up in group. Could we look into it? And we do. And it has helped me a lot.
Now, one effect that my sister-in-law referred to very frequently when she was going through her years with breast cancer was chemo brain. Could you talk to me? I didn't really understand what she was talking about, and I didn't feel as if it was my job to interrogate her. So I never really understood what she was talking about and how that impacts people and for how long.
Well, we don't understand it really either, but it translates into some difficulties with short-term memory. People describe it as just feeling kind of foggy, and I don't know what that means exactly, but it does interfere with their thought processing and sometimes problem-solving kinds of things. And we don't have a clear explanation, and we don't have a fix for that. But what we try to do is coach people about how to manage it, which is like, have a notebook. If you have to run errands, write them down. Things that you don't have to remember, give yourself some aids to help you. It cuts down on the frustration, if nothing else. And for some people, it's pretty mild, and it may only last. It doesn't start at the very beginning of chemotherapy. It may be, later in the process, and by the time they finish chemotherapy, it doesn't last very long afterwards. But some people, it bothers much more than that, and it lasts for months, and it theoretically is going to abate at some point, but we don't know exactly when that is. We can't tell people, in 6 months you won't have to worry about that anymore, because we don't know. You'd say that?
I didn't have chemo, but I had radiation, and there was radiation anxiety, really, really serious anxiety from radiation. So after radiation, then I went on the my mind is blocked. I went on the medication.
Bronxville?
No, I went on Arimidex, but I wanted to tell exactly what Arimidex is, and I forgot. Anyway, my anxiety got worse, and I was always relating it to radiation. But then my radiation was completed November 2008. Then eventually, I began to go to the groups and talk to people on Arimidex and read, and I found out some of my anxiety was coming from there.
And that's part of the whole chemo brain thing. There is so much anxiety in general about having cancer. I mean, that's a big thing. Then you have the complications of maybe medications that are adding to it. And then you just have the whole thing with those of us who are getting older, and we have a few little memory things, from time to time.
I can't remember what you said.
Yeah. So sorting all that out and really knowing what's what, it's next to impossible to really do it. But it's not impossible to have these assists so that for whatever is the actual cause or for whatever is the degree of difficulty, you can help yourself to not have to be unstrung by the whole experience.
Is that what, on the Lance Armstrong Foundation website, which I found fascinating, they referred a lot to the in the testimonials from the women about the new normal. Is that the new normal that they're referring to, that they learned to cope with certain idiosyncrasies?
Well, there are many things, I think, involved in that whole new normal concept. I mean, part of it is social. Because after you're diagnosed, and Alberta, you can certainly speak to this, after you're diagnosed with cancer and you are in the treatment, you have all this physical stuff going on, you have the anxiety, you have the fear. I mean, that's universal, really. And you think that these 5 people are going to be the main people who are going to help you get through. It turns out 4 of those people, they kind of go the other way. But there are these other 4 people over here that you never thought would be important in your experience, and they step up and they help you. So your sensitivity to relationships and what's important and communication and how people are able to relate to each other, that changes. Well, that's new normal too.
Very normal.
Maybe your expectations for friends change. Just making good conversation at lunch may not be quite all you're looking for.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so it's,
as you say, you're not glad that you had cancer, but it changed your vision.
It changed because even 2 years after cancer, people still treat me different. So you have your own circle where you feel very comfortable, or you go above how the ignorant people feel. You go above it, if to maybe educate a little bit, or just use myself as an example to give maybe somebody strength. When I come across, I don't self-disclose, but when I have to, I do, if it will help. If it will help.
I think cancer is a major life event, like the birth of a child or the death of a loved one, and it changes us in both good ways and in bad ways for many people. Learning how to cope with it, how to integrate it into your life, and how to move forward is an important part of successfully managing cancer, apart from treating the disease itself. And that's part of what the program strives to do.
Excellent. So, where can we go after this program is over for further information about the Cancer Survivorship Program at Lawrence?
I'm the point person. So when you call 914-787-4115, I actually answer the phone. So that's the best way to reach the Cancer Survivorship Program at Lawrence Hospital Center, is to call that number, and we'll talk.
Excellent. Well, I thank you very much, all 3 of you, for joining Future Choices tonight. I really appreciate you sharing your perceptions with me and with my friends and neighbors in Westchester County. Thank you, and good night.